Hey everybody, this is Jamie Shaw Marketing Show, and tonight we are got a special guest. My phone's ringing already. My special guest is Dave Renicky. Dave's been a great inspiration for me, a great mentor for me, and he's not only been a great mentor, he's been a great friend to me. So I really appreciate him coming on and sharing his story with us tonight. So before we get started with Dave, Dave can jump on and say hi to everybody. And looks like Terry dropped off a little bit, so she'll be back. But
Hey Jamie, how you doing?
pretty good. How are you? And there's Terry
Very
back.
well, thank you. Thanks for having me on, brother.
Sure, no problem. But I did a Facebook Live on the way home about what you put in your mind. I'm sure Dave's going to cover this tonight too, because I got the inspiration to make that Facebook Live about what you put in your mind, because before I made that Facebook Live, I was watching a video that Dave put out today about, your education, and that's why I kind of covered that topic, because, what you put in your mind is what you get back out. If you're watching the news and you're scrolling Facebook, watching all the arguments and crap, you're putting crap in your mind, and you need to put positive stuff, books, audios, educational training, all that stuff in your mind, so you can expand your mind and grow as a person. And I listen to lots of mindset training. I listen lots of education. I read. I've got two books laying right here on the side of my desk. That one I'm halfway through, and the other one I want to start as soon as I'm done with it. So I'm always educating my mind, and Dave's seen it firsthand how much I've grown over the last 8-10 months, into the person I am, and Pat's seen it too, because he's been giving me shout outs every week on his hangout, and I think Katie's seen it the most. She's seen how much I've grown, and I think it's great that they get to see me grow as a person, and I can't wait till I get people underneath me besides Terry, because I've seen growth in Terry just from me helping her. I can't wait till I have other people under me to help them grow into the people they want to be. So you have any thoughts, Terry? No, she's not there. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to turn the floor over to Dave, because Dave has got some great information to tell us, and I'm going to let him just walk us through the journey.
Hey Jamie, thanks again for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I know it's sure, it's quite a long story, but before I get started on what actually happened with me, I want to talk a bit about my, how can I say, my kind of routine, or what I used to have before I got started in this. I used to work with a friend of mine, as well as being a youth worker. I used to help out my buddy doing some signage work that he used to have. And our routine was basically meet every morning at a coffee shop, sit down and talk about ways that we could start a business together, or we could start a massive business together. And I remember so many conversations, and you probably have had these, where you're talking and you'll say something like, well, man, can you believe it? This guy just made this thing. He stole my idea. I'm like, what idea? So he says, honey, I was talking about this the other day, and he did the exact same thing I was talking about, and I can't believe it. He kind of just stole my idea away from me, and our conversations would always go back and forth like that all the time about, how somebody else has grabbed our ideas. And that really was my routine. Complaining about how bad life was, but always kind of had an inkling to run my own company, or run my own business. And but we never really reached any height of success. We kind of almost just barely made it. Sometimes didn't even make a lot of money. But I have always been wanting to start my own business. And I do remember about 10 years ago, being online and watching a guy by the name of Jeff Walker talk about how he started a business. And he used to be in the what's the word, stock market trading. He used to write down these little books and information about, how the stocks were doing. He used to write these reports. Sorry, I'm just going to kill my Facebook because I'm getting like distractions here. Hold on, let me kill them all. Yes. All right. So anyway, he would write these little reports, and then one day he decided he was going to go to college. So he saved up enough money for one semester. But the day before he went to college, he decided out of a whim that he was going to send a message out to all of his friends. It was like 19 emails that he had. This was back in the day before YouTube, before all of the stuff we have now, PayPal, all of that stuff. But he just sent this little email out. And two of the emails was his wife, himself, and I think another email that was himself. And he said, I'll give you a report for the stock market for like $20. He just thought he might do that. Anyway, the day before he went to college, sent this out, went to bed and woke up the next morning and completely forgot about these emails. But just as he was walking out the door, he thought, let me just check what had happened. And he made like $200. People had responded. And he made like $200. People were sending them in the mail and all of that stuff. And he went to college. Now, if you know Jeff, he's a very quiet person. He doesn't say much. He's not very loud, or he's not like a great personality that just busts out on stage. It's a very, very calm person. Anyway, he went into the classroom. He sat down, all waiting for the lecture. And he was looking out the window, and he thought to himself, if I could do this once, I could do it again. And just as the lecturer came in the classroom and started to talk, Jeff just got up from his chair, walked out, and the rest is history. And he now has created one of the greatest products, which really has defined email marketing, called Product Launch Formula. I was so inspired by that. That really got me going. And I was thinking, man, I really want to do this. So I tried to get hold of this course. I found out it was like $3,500. It was a tremendous amount of money. There's no ways I could afford that. That's like $50,000 if I told you how much that was in my currency. So I kind of thought it was, how am I supposed to learn about marketing if I've got to pay so much money? And it kind of planted the seed. And then a few years later, a friend of mine went overseas on a ship as a photographer, made some money in dollars, and he came back and he started to run his business online. He had made American dollars, so he had an American credit card, and he started to do this, and he actually became quite successful. He made a lot of money. And I saw him online. I said, what the heck are you doing? But he would never, ever tell me. He would give me some bits of information like, oh, you got to write an article, 5 articles a day, he would say, and sell a product, but you got to write it every single day. So I tried to do that, but nothing happened. So he says, you got to write, you got to do make your own product. I said, what must I do? He says, go ahead and write a book. And I thought, what the hell am I going to write? So I wrote about something I was passionate about, and that was personalities. I'm really interested in the behavior. I always watch that type of thing. And I wrote this book. It took me 2 years to write. I finally made it. I put it out online. And I think in a period of 6 months, I sold 2 copies. I'd even written the book for Americans, written in their language and everything. And I sold 2 copies in South Africa. But it wasn't a lot of money over a 6-month period. And I just thought, what the heck? I can't even do this. So I think in sheer desperation of the fact that I had nothing, and I realized that if I didn't do something drastic, I wasn't going to be able to, make a living. I would be reliant on my friends and family for me to survive, and I was just so desperate. I kind of hit rock bottom. I kind of realized that if I just carry on living like this, I'm going to be dependent on so many people. So I went online, and I just went on this journey of trying to find ways of making money online. And I came across this video about making money online, and I clicked on it, and it was a guy, I think 10 years younger than I was. And he said, get hold of me, and I'll tell you how you can make some money online. So I got hold of him, emailed him. His name was Ryan Maynard, as a lot of you will know. And he wrote back. He was like one of the, in fact, he was the only person that wrote me back. And he said, let's get on a Skype call. And I thought, awesome, let me get on a Skype call. So I got on a Skype call, and this guy actually spoke to me. I was like, oh my word. So he says, all right, I got this program you can try. And it was MyCash Freebies. If you don't know what that is, it's you make money on trials. But I could not do it because I lived in South Africa, a restriction that I couldn't do. I had to be an American citizen. We tried so many ways of, getting, going through proxies but then I found out you need a social security number, and we don't have those. We just have ID numbers, which is a long string of numbers, which I'm sure is similar to a social security number. So we decided that the next best course of action was to try the other program. He says, look, it's really cheap. It's like $25. It's like 3 cups of coffee at Starbucks. And I said, $25? I can buy, 20 cups of good coffee in this country for that amount of money. That's like $300. And he says, well, look, that's all I got. It's $25. And I said, okay, fine. I was so desperate, I thought, I'm going to do this. So I tried to get the money. I had no money. I had nothing. Like, there was no ways. And I actually, when I spoke to my dad about this, actually, he gave me the money. He said, here we go, take this. He didn't know anything about the company or anything. And I put it in my bank account, and I paid the $25. And then as I paid for it, there was another message that said, right, this is a monthly thing. And I'm like, monthly thing? Are you insane? How am I going to afford that? My heart dropped. And I thought, I can't afford to pay this every single month. And I thought, well, you know what? I have to do this. I've got to make a commitment, and I'm going to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my buddy and say, look, any work you've got for me, just give it to me so I can pay this thing, please. And he said, okay, fine. And he started giving me work almost immediately. So anyway, I paid the $25, and then I found out I had to pay another $19 monthly. And my heart nearly dropped again. I had to pick it up on the floor and put it back in my pocket. So I said, all right, that's all right. I'll just have to do it. So I got everything set up, and then I found out I had to pay another $15, of which I nearly fell over backwards, because that's like, I had to pay like nearly $65 a month for this program. And I honestly, in my mind, I thought, I'm going to do this no matter what. I'll have to come up with the money every single month, and I've got to see this as an investment. That's how I looked at it. I thought, I'm investing in my education. I've got to do this. And so I just decided, like breathing, it's something I have to do. So I'm going to have to make the commitment and do it. I'm just going to have to. It's like we have to feed ourselves every day, so we've got to find a way to do it. It's almost like if you're doing a drug, if you're an alcoholic, you've got to find a way to get a drink. Yeah, it's just, you've got to. And I had to turn this into my drug, and I had to make this my number one priority in my life. So I started. And Ryan was just in the program. He had only started a few weeks before I did, but he was gaining success. He was a lot better than I was. So I followed all the instructions he gave me, which was to listen to his mentor and all of the videos that he had been following. And I just started to do what he told me. But I still had other distractions. I still had things around me which I was doing. I was always going out on the weekend, visiting friends. I had other commitments. So I was committed, but I wasn't 100% committed. I wasn't really focused. I just knew I had to do this every single month. And then I said to Ryan, look, man, I'm doing this as much as I can. What can I do? And he says, look, I'll tell you what, this is how you do your videos, and this is how you rank your videos. And I became really good at ranking videos. I'm really good at ranking them. I could rank a video in less than 10 minutes back then on YouTube. And I became so good at it, of doing the skill of just learning it week after week after week, that people started to get a hold of me and say, hey, Dave, can you rank my video? Put one up every day for me, and I'll pay you like $100 if you do this for me. And I was like, sure, man, I'll do that. Because I developed a skill, I became more valuable to other people. And because of that, my income doubled, if that makes sense to you. Because I doubled my value, I doubled my income. And I literally did, I doubled it. Because I let people know that I could do this. I became useful to other people, so they used me, and people started to pay me for the service. So as I started to do this, I came across this advert that said, if you give me $25, I will put 25 ads up on Craigslist, and I will do this for you. I'll put the ads up. And I said, great, that sounds like an awesome idea. So I try to haggle with him first, because $25, as you know, is a lot of money for me. But he says, no, $25 or nothing. So again, I had to get the money together. I paid him, and he said, wait 12 days and your ads will start working. So I gave him the link and everything he needed to put on Craigslist, and he put the ads up. I waited 12 days, and after the 12th day, I started to get opt-ins. Now, if you don't know what an opt-in is, it's basically you've got an offer with a place to put your email in. You put your email in, you click the link, and then it'll take you to an offer. And I started getting 20, 30 leads a day. It was like after that 12th day. And I made my first sale. I made my first sale online. It took me 8 months. It took me 8 months to do that. After working and working and working and working and just making sure that I was absolutely committed. And I had to change the way that I was thinking about business. I had to realize that me working for somebody else, getting an expected paycheck at the end of the month. And let's face it, when you're working and you're not enjoying it, you're not really working. You're kind of just coasting through the day, making sure that you're at work. You know that expression, if you don't go to work, you don't get paid. That's exactly what we do. We go to work so we can get paid. We don't go to work to work. We kind of go through the motions of doing stuff. So when I was doing work, I was just expecting, you had the thought in the back of the mind that I should be getting paid. But I didn't realize that actually I had to work. I had to actually put in the miles and actually do the work. And through developing a skill, through doing research, I found this person who got me into a strategy where I made some money. Now, after a few months, Craigslist shut my account down because, Craigslist, they change all the time with their algorithms and their nonsense. And my account got shut down. I couldn't post on Craigslist anymore. So my leads had stopped. And I realized the only thing that I could really do well was video. I could rank very well. But my videos weren't doing very well because I didn't know that you have to be a certain way on video. I didn't know that you had to say certain things in the beginning. I'd just go online telling people about myself and then eventually get to my main point. So people were watching my videos and clicking off. They weren't listening. I'd say, hi, my name is Dave. I live in South Africa. My favorite color is green. I like to walk the dog. I just go on a tangent forever before I actually got to the main point. I didn't know that. And so I thought to myself, you know what? I've actually skipped out an entire section here, and I'm so sorry. But let me just rewind a little bit back, all right? I'm just rewinding a bit back. After my account got shut down in Craigslist, I thought to myself, I wanted to get hold of this guy again. Because before it got shut down, I wanted to get hold of this guy again. And I thought, let me try and find it. I couldn't find him. He was offline. He had gone somewhere else. So I could not do it again. And I thought to myself, because that strategy of his worked, if I could find a way to post ads, the same ads that he did, because he had sent me a PDF with order descriptions and everything. And all I did was I thought, if I could duplicate what he did and just put it up on Craigslist, I could actually get the same result. And it just made logical sense. So I did that. I figured out how to get on Craigslist from South Africa. And believe me, it's not easy. You got to go through proxies. You got to get American phone numbers. But I managed to do it after a lot of research and training my mind and going through education. I finally did it. I put my ads back up, and leads and sales are coming through again. But then Craigslist did their whole algorithm thing, and they shut all my accounts down. They blacklisted all the proxies, so I couldn't do that. So it was at that point that I thought, what am I going to do? Let me go back to video. But I knew that if I wanted to get good at video, I had to do what I had to do was find somebody who was getting results, just like the guy in Craigslist. And I thought, let me find somebody who's getting results. I will duplicate his strategy and just do the same thing, which also made logical sense. So I decided I was going to do that. I found somebody, and I know Chris knows his name. His name was Kevin Ferguson. He had a little mini course on how to make video. I followed the video, and I did exactly what he said. It was a basic course, but I did exactly what he told me to do. And guess what? I started making videos. I was getting ranked, and I started getting leads and sales. And that's exactly what you need to do. All right, in order for you to get leads and sales, is to find a strategy that works, duplicate it, and use that in your business. Okay, at least that's what I when I got started. So I started to do these reviews, okay, these really cheesy reviews, and Chris Pius will remember them. They were cheesy as hell. Hi, my name is Dave. You don't need to buy this product in order to make money online. Click the link below and I'll show you how. Basically, that's what it boiled down to. And even products that were legit, that's what I would do. And I was getting a lot of complaints by people who had made these products because they put their blood, sweat, and tears into them. And I didn't feel right doing that. So I started to look for products I could do reviews on. And because I had a background in trading, I decided I was going to do reviews on those scammy products. So I started to do that instead. And because I knew about trading and I knew what went into it, I knew that you needed a mentor. I knew you need to understand indicators. I know you need a strategy. I know that you need an understanding of the markets, and you need the human element. I knew that. So I just tailored my review with that in mind. And I could rank videos very well. I made these videos, and I started to gain a lot of traction. I started to gain a lot of leads. I started to get a lot of sales, and I started to develop a following. And as a result, my business from 3 years ago, and as Jamie was saying, I made a video today about the fact that if you want to make yourself more valuable, if you want to make yourself, well, if you want to double your income, double or triple your income, you have to double or triple your value. And it has literally made my income 10 times as big as it was when I first started, literally, because I decided that I was going to be more valuable than the people around me. And if I could not, I would learn from those who were. See, if you go into a business, any sort of business, even a group of people in a club, and you decided that you were going to be even more valuable, if you educated yourself and you learned more things every day, pretty soon what's going to happen is people will start to listen to you. People will start to follow what you have to say. And we all say this. We all say, provide value, provide value. And it kind of gets washed over our heads because we hear it so often. But the key is that you have to make sure that you are becoming more valuable and working on yourself more than your actual job. Okay, so if you can get to a stage where you are providing a lot of value, what's going to happen is people are going to listen because you're providing unique value. You're not just saying everything that everybody else is saying. Everybody says the same things in their business. You know, you can do it. You know, believe in yourself, and those are all valid things. But the key is to be different. Is to say the same things in ways that people can relate to. Because let's be honest, how many times have I heard the phrase, Dave, you've got to provide more value? I heard that back when I first started, even in that whole Jeff thing, provide value, provide value. But it never meant anything until actual recently, when I really understood that phrase. Providing more value means working on yourself to become better and better, and to making sure that you are contributing in a way that's helpful to other people, speaking directly to people. You know, we had my uncle on last week, and everything he said, I'm sure everybody knew. But because he said it in a way that was refreshing, it was a way that was interesting, we all paid attention, and a lot of us learned a great deal from that. Why? Because my uncle reads every single day. He takes notes every single day. He makes sure that he's getting new information to share with other people all the time, so that when he is called upon to provide value, it's so valuable that people can't believe what they're hearing. And ultimately, if you want to gain a following, if you want to gain a huge audience, you've got to make sure that you are providing value that nobody else is. And that can be a difficult thing. But here's as a result of me putting out my course, SAM, for making YouTube videos, I know that it's got my own spin on it. I know that it's my style. And here's the interesting thing about what happened recently. And this goes way back a ways, when I used to only give that course out to people on my team. I used to give it away for free for people on my team because I thought I only wanted to go to people who were taking things seriously. So I stopped doing that eventually. I stopped doing that. I took my course off the market, much to a lot of people's dismay, but I've recently put it back out there. But the reason I'm putting it back out there is because I'm providing it for everybody. Because I want people to take value in and to recognize the fact that I can give them something that a lot of people will charge them for. So I can give them that. And because I give them that, just recently somebody opted into my business, somebody opted into my course, and they went through the entire course in 4 hours, contacted me and said, Dave, I really want to be a part of this, but I don't have a product to sell. And then immediately I said, wow, that's an extra video I've got to put in there. And this is the guy who's interested in what I have to offer. So I made him a personal video. I gave it to him, and he contacted me and says, Dave, I'm going to get in there. It's not a question about if I'm ready, I am ready. I'm going to get everything together, and I'm going to get started with the business. And this just happened recently. Why? It's because I made myself more valuable than anybody else. Because I guarantee you, if he goes and looks and says YouTube training course, he's going to look, and every single one of them are going to be a lot of money. But I gave it out for free, which means I stand above so many other people. Because people, they get into this industry and they think, you know what, I'm going to make this great course. I've just copied somebody else's course. I'm going to make it my own. I'm going to sell it for like $1,000 and I'm going to make ton loads of money. What the hell, man? You're not going to sell anything. If you're lucky, you might sell one, but you don't have a following. You don't have a reputation. Nobody knows who you are. Why should they buy it from you? So here's my strategy, right? You give it away for free. You make another course, you give it away for free. You make another course, you give it away for free. You put content on your blog, you give it away for free. One day when you have a big enough following, I'm going to give you a course now, but this time I'm charging for it. The people are going to be like, damn, he's charging for this one, so it must be really valuable. That's how you develop into people like Ray Higdon, Diane Hockman. I mean, look at Diane, right? She gives everything away for free. I mean, everything away for free. And look at Ray. You go to his website, you get like this big download of an audio that he gives you away for free. Go to Mark Herbert's website, a training course, which, by the way, I provide even more valuable than him. I provide even more value then he gives them that free course, because I am trying to show people that I have something to offer. If you don't have anything to offer, why should a person follow you? All right, so that's what it really comes down to, and that's why I created SAM, as a way that somebody can use something that they've never had before, in a way that I can stand out from the crowd. And if you're standing out from the crowd, that's because you're providing something that other people aren't. All right, so if you're just saying the same old drivel over and over and over and over again, don't be surprised if people are not following you. If you are sitting on an automated system of robotic messages like Katie was talking about. See, here's the thing people don't tell you about DMs, automatic DMs. This is what they don't tell you. The big marketers that use that have thousands of people following them. So they can't cope. So what they do is they use the automated DM because it's just a better way of getting a message out there. But the moment they get a response, do you think they still use automated bot? No, they don't. They actually respond and they know how to talk to people. But the problem is that we want it so quickly that we decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do exactly what that guy's doing. I'm going to just send this out to everything I can find. And it just becomes annoying, because what happens is somebody responds. First of all, you don't even see the message until a week later. And secondly, you really piss people off because of the way that you're saying it. I guarantee you that the big marketers that use automation stuff say their message in a way that isn't pitchy, and they probably say something like, this is the last time you'll ever get a canned message from me. You need to know how to talk to people, and you cannot assume to be better than Ray Higdon. Don't think of yourself as a Ray Higdon. I guarantee you that Ray Higdon doesn't even think of himself as a person that, you know, his head isn't that big. You know, he sounds like a really humble guy, and you'll find that the people like Rob Ford, people like Diane Hochman are always saying, I'm always learning. They have a humbleness about them. But the problem is, when we get online and we suddenly get a big ego and we think all I have to do is, and we see the end result of these big guys playing, and we think, let's do what they're doing. But you forget about how they struggled in the beginning and how they worked on their little reputation until it was big enough to explode. And when it gets big enough to explode, that's when you start selling courses of your own. That's when you start sending out thousands of emails with a message, because you know how to respond to them and how to speak to them. All right. Don't think of yourself greater than you ought to. In fact, that comes directly out of the Bible. And that's a very good principle to live by. All right. You've got to remain humble, and you've got to remember where you come from. So I know I've been rambling on here, man. I don't know if you have any questions or you want to say something, Jamie.
I don't know. I got kicked off, and I was freaking out because I thought the whole webcast went down. So I had to go to a different browser to get in, because Chrome wouldn't let me back in. So I lost my whole train of thought trying to get back in. I guess the question I had was, I might have missed it. You might have covered it, but what made you develop SAM? Because I might have missed what you said. So.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, no, that's fine. I was talking about the fact that when I started out, and I was following the strategy of that Craigslist thing that I had, when I followed somebody, and I thought if I could duplicate what he was doing, then I'd just do the same thing. And I followed the YouTube guy, Kevin, and I thought all I have to do is duplicate what he's doing. So now what happens is I'm growing now, and I'm thinking, let me go and look at the leaders that are doing really well, the guys that aren't struggling, like Ray Higdon, Rob Ford, Dan Hochman, Peter Sage, all of these guys. And Dan Penny is a big one. Okay, that will scare the pants off you, because everything he gives away is for free. Everything. And I'm talking everything he gives away for free. He only charges for his personal seminars. But all of these guys have one thing in common, and that is they give away content for free. They give away courses for free. And I thought, I was thinking about that. I was thinking, if these guys are giving away content for free, why are they doing it? And I realized that it's because it's a way for people to see that they actually have something to put on the table. But if you go and listen to anything that Diane Hockman does, if you go and look and subscribe to her email, she just gives you a short message. She doesn't pitch anything to you. And then what she does is she gives you links to her Instagram, her training videos, and they're free from her YouTube channel. You go and listen to that, and there's so much content in that. You think, wow, they really got something valuable to share. And as a result, she builds this relationship because people say, thank you so much for that tip. Thank you so much. And then one day, when they're ready, they will buy. And as I was saying, the reason I created SAM was to provide value so people can see I have something to offer. And that's exactly why I have it. The first time I had it, I was just doing it for my team. Why? Because all the big guys do it. You see? All the big guys do it. And I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big guy. I'm just this person trying to make a name for myself in this industry, and it's slowly getting bigger and bigger. But it starts off with me taking smaller steps. I'm not that guy that can just, back then, like a year and a half ago, I thought, wow, I've got this great course, I'll just give it out to my team. Why don't I just do something even better and decide to give it out to the whole world? Because then they can see I have something to offer. That's why I created SAM.
That's awesome. And I'm in one of Diane's courses, her Deeper Biz Mastermind, and she is always giving stuff away for free. So she is pretty powerful. I've gone to her website. You can get everything for free. I've signed up to her email list. And guess what? You don't get a automated email.
No.
You get a personal email once a month when she's putting something out there. And I invest. I've gone through about half the SAM method. Of course, I got into some coaching too on another program, and and the guy Ed Zimbardi, he's in the roadmap. He's the one. That's what I got into. He was personally mentored by Diane Hockman, and the stuff he gives away for us to do, basically in the roadmap, what they're doing is setting you up a daily plan of attack. So you know what to do every day to get your business off the ground in 10 days and start getting leads, and I've been in it 2 days and I've got my first lead from Facebook. Of course, I've got leads from SAM. I've got leads from YouTube. I've got leads from Craigslist, but this is the first time I've actually got a lead from Facebook, and I was kind of stoked about it. So
it's very humbling to realize how much you need to learn as somebody who's getting started. And that's what I'm saying. It's the same attitude that even Diane Hockman has. She's always trying to learn. She's never trying to put herself in a position by making her look better than herself. It's very off-putting to watch somebody who thinks of himself greater than he really is. It's really off-putting. For me, at least, I don't know how you feel.
hold on, Dave, my camera went dead.
That's all right.
I don't know what happened. Usually you're the one having internet issues, not me.
Yeah, for some reason I'm holding up.
I don't know what the deal is. I guess I try. How do I start?
So while you're getting yourself sorted out there, Jamie, what I can say to people watching is, if you're running a business and you're wondering why you're not getting any more traction, it's either because you're not stretching yourself hard enough, or you're not implementing the stuff you're learning. So, or you're not reading. And the truth is that I've never been one for taking notes. I've never been an avid reader. I listen a lot. I listen to audios, I watch videos, but I've got to, in my opinion, I know that there are a lot of marketers out there that say I don't read and all of that stuff, and that's great. but you need to be able to get new information into your brain. And I'll tell you this: the thing about the word is that you can get a lot more into it than just saying stuff on video. And if you're going to be somebody who just educates yourself through video, you've got to at least be paying a lot of money to get that. And the reason I say that is because the real golden stuff are in the paid courses. All right. I mean, I paid a lot of money for courses that provide me with value that I am still implementing now, and it's helped me a lot. Why is it that I've become financially independent? Well, I'll give you some constants in my life. One, I always work on my business every day. Number two, I always respond back to people. Always. Doesn't matter. I respond. If somebody sends me a message now, I might just say, I'll get back to you. But I give a response every single day. Three, I pay for my education. I've bought stuff. All right. I've bought stuff, and I've paid a lot of money for it. Okay. Four, I make sure that I'm running a hangout of mine. I make sure I do it every week. Five, I make sure that I listen to people who know more than I do on a consistent basis. Six, I make sure I learn something new every day. Seven, I do something scary every day. And if I get that feeling in my stomach of butterflies before you go to the principal's office, if you get that feeling every day, that's a good thing. It's when you're just coasting and you're not learning, that's a bad thing. All right. You should always be feeling a little bit nervous, because you've got to make sure that you're providing stuff. And what will happen to me is that because we have this workshop every single Saturday, I'm constantly learning new stuff because I want to be able to bring new things to the table. There's also a lot of stuff I say over and over again because you need to repeat yourself, but I always make sure I bring something new to the table. So you should be doing that all the time. And if you're just doing the same things and think that you can live your life on autopilot while your business works by itself, it doesn't happen. It's a fallacy to think that. This whole thing about time freedom, in my opinion, is a lie. I don't think it actually exists, because truthfully speaking, when you work hard now, it becomes a little easier because you know what to do, but you will never stop working. And if you do what you love, you'll never work again. Exactly. So there's no such thing as work-life balance. No such thing, in my opinion. I think that if you're going to be somebody who's successful and working really hard and making millions and millions of dollars, you've got to be a person that is worth that much. Okay, I mean, take a look at Dan Pena. Dan Pena, billionaire. Okay, they call him the $50 billion man. But try and keep up with Dan Pena at the age that he is. I think it's like 75 or 76, 77. And he sleeps less than a lot of 24-year-olds I know. When he was 24 years old, he slept 4 hours a night. 4 hours a night. He's got such a rigorous routine. If you could not keep up with him if you tried. Dan actually makes it a point in his life to do something outrageous. Like the guy will go out hunting with lions. The guy will bungee jump. He lied on his forum about bungee jumping so that he could jump off a bridge because he knew they wouldn't let him jump otherwise. But he's a real example of somebody who goes out of his way to put himself in scary situations. Now, that's not for everybody. But people like Peter Sage, who's a much calmer version of Dan, he's not as militant as he is, but he is still a guy who keeps himself always doing something scary. All of these guys do it. Even Bill Gates, take a look at Steve Jobs. Take a look at these guys, billionaires, who have a rigorous lifestyle. Do you think they have time freedom? Time freedom? No, they work really hard. Anyway, so
Yeah,
I'm also going to.
I agree. Dave. And just like your uncle last week, the information or the Monday night that what your uncle gave out. I mean, my brain was warped for a day and a half before I could get my head back on straight. Just what he delivered was like, and I can't wait to hang out with him some more because that man knows some stuff.
Yeah, he'll make you cry, man.
Oh yeah.
But I also got to say this. It doesn't mean to say that you have to be a workaholic, because there are facts. All right, now there are real facts here, and the fact is that if you work 60 hours a week, your family will leave you. That's just a fact. All right, the fact is that you've got to be able to work time in for your loved ones, and obviously that's true. But even when Dan takes a vacation, he takes his work with him. He still spends time with his family because he knows the importance of it. But he doesn't make it, he doesn't like kick everyone out of his life. But it's a priority for him that he works. And my dad works all the time. My dad is 76 years old and he's still working. And he's been retired for, 15, 16, 17 years now. And he's still going strong. Even though he's got a bad knee and a bad hip, he still wobbles around fixing and making showers, and that sort of thing. It's because he has this great work ethic that he's always doing. So my dad is always working, freedom, time, work-life balance, please. Anyway.
Yeah, something you said, now I lost my train of thought.
That's right.
But, you always have to put in the time, a lot of people think, I've taken time to go through the same method. I don't try to cram it in. There's a lot of videos in there. I don't try to cram it all in at one time. I go through one video at a time and let it sink in, because if I try to rush through it all, I'm not going to retain any information. And I've been through SAM 1.0, so, some of it's refreshing and adding to what SAM 1.10 was. But I got fresh eyes on it now too, so I have to take my time going through it. It's like reading a book. I got a book here I've been working on for about 2 weeks. A lot of people, they're kicking out a book a day. Well, I don't absorb stuff that fast. If I try to kick out a book a day, I got to read a chapter at a time. So every day I'll read a chapter. And David Wood even said that don't read more than 30 minutes to an hour a day, because your brain can't take all that information. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. That is true. You can't overwork yourself, and you've got to find your pace. Some people, you get very good at it over long periods of time. When I first got started, I had to take it slowly. But now for me, I'm just saying me personally, I'm not saying this for everyone, but for me personally, I can't get enough of good training. But it comes over time, because the way I educate myself, Jamie, is if I learn something new and I can implement it straight away, I stop the video and I go and do it, and I just carry on with the training.
I'm sure.
I don't see it as a way to educate myself or to fill my brain up. What I do is I read it, I do it, I read it, I do it, I carry on, and I just do the same thing, and I just keep on reading and doing it, because if you just read it and retain it and you don't tell people about it and you don't implement it, it's not doing anything for you.
Yeah, well, I see it all the time. People try to cram an hour, 2-hour video in an hour, and then say they're lost, they're stuck, and they don't know what the hell to do, and they're trying to cram too much information in. And that's what is nice about the roadmap. I spent a lot of money to get into the roadmap. And what's funny, Dave? The stuff, the beginning stuff they teach you to do in the roadmap, I've already taught on the Hangout how to do it. I just wasn't doing it in the way he's doing it.
Yeah. It's all, and I think maybe the monetary part of it makes it more important. Maybe it does, but like I bought a course out of MLSP, and while I'm going through this course, I realized I learned all this stuff in the 15K.
Yeah.
Like there was stuff in the 15K that it covers in some of the course, but it's not a waste of money because I'm learning new things. And maybe I learned something and it just suddenly becomes clear to me because I heard it for the 7th time. Because you can hear things over and over and over again. It takes like 7 exposures for you to actually understand what's being said. That's why when you watch a movie, you might watch it 3 times, and each time you'll get something new out of it. Like The Shawshank Redemption, one of my favorite films. If it's on TV, I'll be watching it. It's just one of those things, and you get something new out of it every day because of the more exposures you get, the more you'll learn. So if it takes you longer, that's fine. It takes me a long time to learn, but once I learn, I've got it, and I rarely forget it.
I think that one of the things I was missing, I wasn't interacting enough, and Katie started doing a video every day on Facebook Live. So I started doing a video every day on Facebook Live. And, since I've been doing that consistently, like I told you before the call tonight, before the hangout, I've had 5 friend requests this week. It's all people, and one, I asked her, I said, why'd you send me a friend request? She said, because I wanted to be your friend. Okay. So I got to conversing with her, and she said, well, what do you do? I said, well, I work in the engineering field and I run an online business. She goes, cool. She said, do you design websites? I said, yeah. She said, design me a website. I said, well, I can introduce you to a system that you can set up your own website. Plus you get all the marketing training. She's like, cool. Send me the link. She signed up as a lead, and that's where it stopped. And then she quit answering my text messages. So, I don't know if she got overwhelmed, if she was had the money. I can't assume what her reason was why she stopped. Maybe she's just going to sit back.
But she'll follow you. She'll follow you, and she'll keep on listening to you.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Maybe she'll sit back and follow me and listen to what I have to say for a while before she decides to join. So,
and
that all comes, my hangout every week, my Facebook Lives. I don't script them. Dave can attest to this. I don't script them. I mean, I get all this from the education that I put into my brain, and I've said it many times. I spend 3 hours on the road a day. I spend an hour and a half to work, an hour and a half home. I'm educating myself in that 3 hours every day. What are you going to do? You're going to put negative news in your mind all day long, and then you're going to have a negative attitude all day long.
That's right.
Were you on a hangout last night?
I was.
The Facebook Live. He dropped a lot.
No. Yesterday I was so. Yesterday I'd been up for almost 2 days, so I was so exhausted, and I knew that I had to get some sleep. I wasn't on that, no. But I think I have an excuse.
Yeah, you're always up 2 or 3 days at a time. You got a lot of time to make up from when you had no internet. So
yeah, it's but that's just my obsession. It's partly because I love what I do so much. That's why I'm up for 2-3 days at a time, because I love what I do so much that I push myself. Even when I go to bed, my brain is still running and thinking, how can I make my emails better? What can I do that's a little bit scary today? What can I do that's going to make me stand out a little bit more? And that keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
Literally. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you talked about, high energy people like Dan Pena and stuff. He sleeps 4 hours, and I consider myself a high energy person because, I work a 9-hour day, then 3 hours on the road, that's 12 hours. Then I'm on Hangouts and Facebook Live, or not Facebook Live, but Hangouts and workshops. And I mean, we got my show tonight, and then after this, we got a team call. So, I work in my business 3 or 4 hours a night too. So I may sleep 5 hours if I'm lucky at night.
And that's, and Jamie, it's a great testament to your success, because at the end of the day, you put in the hours, you put in the work, and you always making sure that you are ready. So, I mean, that's exactly why you're heading in the direction you're in. When you get on a Saturday workshop, I know that you are there with stuff primed to talk about, and that's exactly what that everybody should be doing. You shouldn't be just getting on the workshop and saying, right, how much, we have this thing in our church where people go to church and say, I never really got anything out of it. What? What do you mean you never got anything out of it? I mean, aren't you supposed to also provide people with it's like when you go there, you're not just there to get. You're there to give. So that's exactly what you should be doing. You should be going there not with the intention of, okay, what can I learn this week? It should be, what can I share this week? What can I help people with? How can I guide people? And that is one of the things that really stand out about you, is that you are always willing to give your time to people, even if they're not connected with you at all. And that's why people follow you. That's why people want to listen to what you have to say. And it's only those types of people that are going to get far in this industry. Sure. And the way if you're thinking, I don't want to share this with anybody because somebody might take it and use it, that's the wrong attitude to have. In fact, I knew somebody that had that exact attitude. I don't want to share it with Dave because if I do, he'll steal my idea. Out of the 7.5 billion people that live in the world, I'm going to somehow impact, and take over his whole industry. So if you have that attitude, you got to rethink it. Anything you learn, you got to be willing to share it with people who want to listen. And that's the other thing too. Wanting, like a lot of people don't want to listen. And the truth is, Jamie, I could quite literally take somebody off the street, show them exactly what to do, and they still won't do it. You could buy all the courses. If all the courses in MLSP were free, all of the paid ones were free, it still won't make you succeed.
No, because most people won't do the work.
They don't do the work. They haven't made it valuable. They don't see themselves as doubling their value. So it doesn't work. I used to be one of those people that thought if I could just get the product for free, I would be able to get over the hill. Doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Katie made a comment, said that I keep her in check, that I can't outdo her on Facebook Live. Well, I'm not really trying to outdo her on Facebook Live. What I see Dave make a video every day. I see Katie make a Facebook Live every day. I'm just following the lead and making a video every day, whether it be on Facebook Live or YouTube. They're my leaders, my mentors are doing it. I should be doing it.
So that's exactly right. I mean, that's exactly right. You can't, because eventually what's going to happen is if you keep doing that and your habits start rubbing off of other people, you're going to be eventually experiencing the same thing that other people are doing. You want to be a millionaire? Hang around millionaires. Hang around people. You want to be really great at surfing? Hang around surfers. If you want to be really great at Facebook marketing, hang around somebody who's great at Facebook marketing. Same with YouTube. It doesn't matter. You got to pick up those things from people who are getting it right. Yeah.
And and that's why I preach, on my Facebook Lives about motivation and not motivation, education and mindset, because all this starts with your mindset. If your mind ain't right, you're not going to go anywhere. And when I didn't believe in myself, Dave and Katie believed in me, and up until the point where they instilled enough information in me that I started believing in myself. And as soon as
and that don't you think, Jamie? Don't you think that is the number one reason? I mean, belief in yourself is so important.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we heard people say, "Oh, I just don't know if I'm good at something. I don't know if I can do it," and "Oh, I'm not really that good." But the only way that you are going to even get anywhere is by having a belief in yourself that's real. And the only way you get there is by hanging around people who believe in you.
That in the Deep Abyss, one of the audios, it starts out, Diana Huckman says, most people fail in their home business because they do not believe in themselves. And, I'm a testimony to that. I didn't believe in it. I was scared to do videos. Pat Patterson kicked me in the ass and told me to do videos. Dave kicked me in the ass, told me to do videos. Katie kicked me in the ass, told me to do videos. Guess what? I started doing videos. Guess what? I start gaining an audience. I start making sales here and there, But in that transformation, you realize it's not all about making sales. It's all about how many people you can help along the way. And, I devote time to helping my teammates out. If they're stuck, I'll jump on a hangout with them, jump on a Zoom with them, help them figure it out. I mean, I've done it with Dave several times because he's in IT, I'm in IT. So, or he used to be in IT, he's not anymore. But, give him back.
So, same thing with Chris. You help Chris out.
Yeah.
He's not even connected to you. You help me out. And you're not even connected, a few levels, but you're not connected with me at all. There's no monetary gain for that. And you had we're just showing you now how to do a code thingy on your website. So we help each other out. It's sorry, that's the official term, guys. Code thingy.
Code thingy. Yeah.
Code thingy.
That's what's so awesome about our workshop. And actually, I come up with a name for our workshop, the 24-hour marketing crew workshop.
Marketing crew, actually, yeah. That's awesome.
There's about 6 or 8 of us that are on every Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I've been late the last couple Saturday nights because I had some family stuff going on, but I showed up.
I was absent for 2.
I showed up the last couple hours, and provided value to the team, and, I love that hangout. I love coming in and helping everybody. If I know something, then I can teach them and help them out, because they do the same for me. They come in and they teach me stuff that I don't know, and it helps me out. So, and even the new people do, there's been, what's his name? Ricky. He just blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Ricky is amazing. Ricky actually started his own business. He's made his first couple of sales, and
Cool.
that's great success. Ricky, he's determined, man. He's one of those guys that I can just see it in his eyes. He wants to make this work, despite all of the odds against him. He wants to make it work, and that's a hurdle, because the truth is that when Jim Rohn started, he had people saying that what he was doing wasn't going to work. I had people say exactly to my face that I was involved with the scam. I've had the experience of people doing that. I've also had the experience of being able to shove it back in their face and say, look who's talking now. It's like kind of like, and I've also had people apologize to me for the fact that they called it a scam. Pat, look at Pat. How many, his sons used to come up to him and say, how's that scam going, Dad? Now they're like, hey, Dad, how's $500? Now they want money from him. And the truth is that people are just scared of the unknown. And here's the truth, though. I mean, we take risks. Other people don't. Regardless of whether something may or may not be a scam, you won't know until you actually try it. I've been scammed before. No, I've been scammed a few times. And what's it got me? It's gotten me knowledge that I can use, so I know to stay away from certain things. But even when I was being scammed and I lost a lot of money, and I've lost it all. I went back to zero. I built it back up again because of my education. It's just the way that the cookie crumbles.
Well, it's the top of the hour, buddy, and I want to thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. We lost Terry. She's probably having internet problems too. So
it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much, Jamie. I appreciate it, man.
I want to make sure you guys get over to the 24-hour marketing show on Monday night, and then Wednesday night, make sure you go to Wisdom Wednesday and hang out with Pat and the crew. I'll put all the links in the comment. Lowell Vickers has one in the afternoon, isn't it? On Monday. And then
Laura Parrish.
Laura has a team training call tonight, and then
Jackie on Friday.
Jackie has one on Friday, and then I have mine.
Chris Pius is going to have his on Tuesday.
Chris Pius is going to have his on Tuesday. He needs to get me his link so I can post it in the group chat, because I've got a notepad with all that. And then Dave just showed me how to do affiliate links. So I'm going to affiliatize my link so you guys can get leads and stuff off of it. Let me put this in the chat real quick. So there we go. But thanks so much for hanging out with me, Dave, and we will see you guys later.